All right, guys, what's up? So in this video, we're going to be talking about the Indie World Showcase that just happened yesterday. As of this recording, it happened on March 17th, 2020. So yeah, let's talk about it. So there were a lot of games shown in this direct, and it was actually really enjoyable to watch because, as I'm sure you guys know, there's a huge drought of Nintendo Directs right now, so we haven't really been getting much to go off of for Nintendo's plans in the future. So it was just really nice to see this little indie direct and see what it was all about, and some really cool games from really cool companies that we can look forward to in the near future. A lot of games were shown. Most were like general overviews, but there was a quick montage at the end. So most of the games that were shown in this Indie Direct, it was kind of funny because they were almost all timed exclusives on the Nintendo Switch, which is really cool because that shows Nintendo is really supporting these indie developers and allowing them onto their platform even firsthand. And it was just really cool. I don't know, it was just kind of funny because it was just like timed exclusive, timed exclusive, timed exclusive. Like you just kept on hearing that over and over again. So yeah, we're just going to be talking about all the games that were shown in this Indie Direct and what I thought about them when they come out, that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's jump into it. The first game that they showed was a world premiere of this game called Blue Fire, and it was really cool. It had like a jazzy, cool intro, and I really liked the atmosphere. It was kind of dark and like light in some places, and it kind of looked like you were playing as a ninja and you were just like hopping around in like this void area, they said. And it was a lot of platforming. There were some enemies that you had like dodge their attacks and whatnot. And they also talked about a lot of collectibles that are present in that game. And I just thought it really looked cool. Probably one of my most anticipated games that were shown in this direct, because just the atmosphere, like the cool tonal music. I just really liked how it looked. I thought it was very interesting. And Blue Fire is a timed exclusive on the Nintendo Switch, as you will see is going to be a theme, and it comes out summer 2020, so not too far. So the next game is Baldo, and it's made by a two-person team, and that game again is also definitely one of the ones that I'm most excited about that was shown in this little indie direct. Like the cute anime style was just so gorgeous, and I'm just so blown away by the fact that this is apparently only done by two people. Like, it's crazy. I honestly wonder how much time that they put into this game to get it looking like that, and how polished it's going to be. That's one thing that I am worried about, though, since it is only a two-person team. It sure looks beautiful, but is it going to feel as polished as it looks? That's something that I'm wondering. But yeah, just like these small teams nowadays are making like so many great and gorgeous games. It's just really wonderful to see that. And I'm proud that like teams like these are being supported, because this game definitely looks worth it, and I'm really excited to check this game out. And just like exploring the world and the dungeons looked a lot of fun. And again, like the biggest thing that hooked me was that classic anime art style, and just yeah, I'm really excited for that one. It's again a timed exclusive on Switch, and it comes out summer 2020. So the next game shown was one called I Am Dead, and it has a really colorful yet simple art style, but the gameplay seems like really different and unique. Like I wasn't expecting it. It's like weird because like it's like you're zooming in on things and like you're using X-ray vision to like unfold the like object. So it's like if you have extra vision, you look into a backpack, you're gonna see everything that's in that backpack, and then you can like look even deeper. Like if you're looking at a notebook, like what's on the pages of the notebook. Like it just looks really interesting, and like it looks like it's gonna be a mind bender, and really gonna make me think. Like if I look here, like what is this? Like, what can I do with it? You know what I mean? So it just looks really interesting. I really like puzzle games, so this is one that I think I'm gonna check out. Just the art style seems really cool. Yet it's simple, but it seems really cool. And just the mechanic is something that I haven't really seen before. Yet it also seems like it could be a lot of fun. And I Am Dead is another timed exclusive on the Nintendo Switch, and it only had 2020 as its release date. So the next game that was discussed was B.Ark, and I guess it's like a side-scrolling co-op space shooter, and you play as like these dogs shooting aliens or something like that. And it just seemed like a goofy, like family-friendly game. Kind of like something that you just hop on every now and then to mindlessly play some games. Kind of like a mobile game in that regards. Nothing negative. That's just how the vibe felt to me. It did seem really cool and like a lot of fun. So that's something that I probably want to check out, but it's definitely not like a game that I get like super invested and hooked into, just based on the premise and my opinion. And yeah, yet again, it's another timed exclusive and it's scheduled for late 2020. The next game was called Freak Apocalypse, made by Cyanide and Happiness. And it kind of opened with like a little skit between, I guess, one of the developers talking with one of the characters in the game. And it was just really goofy. And then it jumps into a bit of gameplay. And it's funny because the first time I watched it, I was like, this art style looks really familiar for some reason. And then I did some research and it turns out that Cyanide and Happiness has like webcomics. So it's like they have like this classic toon style that's like sometimes in memes and stuff. And I've also just seen little comics and jokes used with that art style as well. So it's really cool to be seeing it animated, and I'm kind of excited. It seemed really goofy and maybe like a comedy. I don't really know, but I'm excited to see what it is. That art style, bringing me back to something that I really liked and remembered, is definitely a bonus for me. So yeah, yet again, that's a timed exclusive for summer 2020. So yeah, most of these games aren't that far off. The next game was called Summer in Mara, and this one looked really interesting. It had a very beautiful art style. It was kind of, I don't know if it's cel-shaded. It kind of looked like the Wind Waker in a way. And they said something along the lines of it being an open world. And you play as an open girl, and you play as a little girl. And I'm not quite sure what you do, but it just kind of seemed more like a kid-friendly game. I don't really think it's going to have any mature themes. That's not a knock against it. I'm just pointing that out. And the world really seemed vibrant. I really liked that. And it seemed like there was a lot of places you could explore. There may have also been puzzle elements. But it just seems like a very casual, fun game to play. But nothing that gets like too involved or serious or anything like that. Just something you relax and have fun with, which I think is going to be really good. I really like that vibe of game. And yet again, it's a timed exclusive for spring 2020. So like right around the corner. That's like right now. I could see that game releasing in a couple months, maybe 1 or 2 months. So yeah, looking forward to that one. The next game is Quantum League. And I got to get this out of the way. I'm not really a huge fan of shooters like Battlefield, Call of Duty. Like they don't really get it done for me. I don't really like that realistic shooting gameplay style. It's not for me. If there's like a twist on it, like I love Overwatch, and that's not like a realistic, stereotypical shooter that you would expect. And Quantum League feels much the same way. The art style is kind of like a mix between Overwatch and like a more realistic than like COD, I would say. Not nearly as detailed, but just like in how the presentation looks, which is good for me because I'm not really crazy about that whole gritty art style either. But the thing that really hooked me and got me interested in it is like the time quantum mechanic or whatever. So basically, I guess you start out and it's just you and the opponent, and then you go and fight, and then you have another round, but then your past selves and your past actions are still there. So it's a new you and the past you like working together. And it seems really cool because not only are you like having a team with yourself, but also seemed like something that you could get really smart with. Like if you're really smart, like you could get really good at it, and just like plan your moves. It seemed like kind of like a game like chess in that way. And that game, it just looked really intriguing to me and different. And it's something that really appeals to me. And I also saw that there were different objectives like capture the point, which again reminds me of something like an Overwatch. So yeah, it just looks like something that really appeals to me, and I'm excited to see more of it and possibly play it. And not a timed exclusive this time, but it comes out late 2020. The next game was kind of goofy. It was called The Good Life. And I guess you're playing as this girl in a rural British town or something to that effect. And I guess the spin is that you play as animals, or like the residents turn into animals at nighttime. So it was just kind of like fun to see like you riding around on animals or actually playing as animals to investigate things. So I think that's going to be really cool. I think it has like a mystery puzzle element, like crime solving element, which I think is going to be really cool. The art style also seems cool. And just like the fact that it involves pets and playing as pets, I think is going to attract a lot of people. And I'm one of those people. I'm not like extremely excited for this game, but it definitely looked interesting and something that I might want to look at. And that comes out 2020. The next game was The Last Campfire by Hello Games. And that game had a stunning trailer. The visuals, the music, it all came together to just like this perfect mix that just really drew me into it. And it had like these melancholy, sad tones, but also like these happy tones when you like revive somebody and like you're not alone around this campfire anymore. But it's still sad when you see like all these like petrified or like dead bodies of other people and just how empty the world is. And I just thought it was really cool. And just the idea of like gathering more people and sitting around this campfire together, something about it that just seems more like so heartwarming and, you know, happy to me. But it also seems like a game with very sad undertones. And another reason that I'm very excited for this game is that it's made by Hello Games. And if that sounds familiar, it's because they were the ones that made No Man's Sky. And I have the utmost respect for Hello Games because No Man's Sky at launch was not at all what they promised it would be. And they kind of went silent for a very long time and people were very frustrated with them. But they came back and they've been continually supporting and updating No Man's Sky for free for the past few years. And what the game is now compared to what it was is just night and day. They've gone above and beyond and they've done it all for free. So I have the utmost respect for Hello Games and I want to give them all the support I can because when you have a developer like that that actually listens to people and supports them and doesn't charge you money for it, like doesn't try to rob you or swindle you, like they sold this game and they could have just left it there. They swindled us all. They took all of their money. But no, they buckled down and they set out to improving it. And now the game is absolutely amazing. And I give them so much props for that. So yeah, I just really want to support them in their endeavors. So yeah, not only did I really like the look of The Last Campfire, but I also really want to support it due to the fact that Hello Games is behind it. So I'm very excited for this game. And it comes out summer 2020. So again, not too far. I'm looking forward to it. Next was a game called Pixel Junkie Eden. Pixel Junk Eden. Now it looked interesting. It had like sci-fi music and the visuals were very, very like unique. It was like a kaleidoscope feel. It looked interesting, but it's not really a game that really resonated with me. Maybe I'll check it out, but it's not something that I usually go for. But I mean, it did seem really unique. So that game comes out summer 2020. The next game was called Faria, and it was kind of a mix between like a card battle strategy war game. That's a lot of keywords, but that's what it was. And it really reminded me of like Hearthstone and how the cards looked and the way they were designed, and mixed with something like Risk, like the board game Risk, how it has like those octagonal shapes and you're like a war game and like you're maneuvering. So I like both of those games, card games, Hearthstone, and like Risk strategy war games. I really like those. So like a mix to those sounds really interesting to me. So I'm very interested in seeing what this game has in store for me. And I believe that game comes out March 2020, they said. Next was a game called Eldest Souls. And the gameplay and the presentation looked really cool, but it kind of had me groaning a little bit just because it's yet another boss rush Dark Souls clone. It even has souls in the name. And the art style is like not very unique. It's something that a lot of indie games nowadays have been like, it's like the exact same art style as a lot of indie games that have been coming out recently. Not like the game still looked really fun and cool, but it didn't really impress me. It just seemed like another clone. Not saying that the game is bad, or that they were purposely ripping anything off, but I'm just kind of tired of all like these Dark Souls clones, or like these games with the same exact art style and theme and play. The game did really look cool and interesting, and I might check it out, but again, I'm just getting really tired of just the same gameplay style and idea being rehashed over and over and over. But I don't want to say that I'm negative towards this game, because that's not at all true. It's just more like the archetype that this game is fulfilling. But as the game itself did look really cool, and I do want to check it out. And it's a timed exclusive for summer 2020. After that game, they kind of just went on like a montage, like showing like quick 10, 20, 30-second clips of a game, and just briefly flashing the name and when it was released, or when it's going to be released. So they showed Blair Witch, Ghost of a Tale, Sky Racket, Superliminal, Wingspan, Dicey Dungeons, Bounty Battle, and Moving Out. And the two from that selection that really caught my eye was Superliminal, because it just seemed really trippy, and then how it plays with perspective. Kind of like the I Am Dead game previously, but even more so. So yeah, that one really stood out to me. And then secondly, Moving Out, it just seemed like a cool couch multiplayer game. It seemed like a cross between Overcooked and like Leapfrog or Crossy Road for mobile. I don't know, and you're just like moving furniture across like obstacles and roads, and it just seemed like a lot of fun. So yeah, Superliminal and Moving Out were the two from that selection that really stood out to me. And then lastly, they had one more surprise, undoubtedly like the biggest hammer of that entire little indie direct. They showed Exit the Gungeon, and it is a full-on sequel to Enter the Gungeon, the acclaimed bullet hell roguelike, you know what I mean? So this game obviously was the centerpiece of this entire direct. It's like the bombshell that they dropped at the end, Nintendo style. So the first game, I really love the first game. I have not finished it. It gets very, very tough. But I do love it to death. Just the art style, the gameplay, just the way it presents itself is so much fun. And just like how it's just a funny game too. And the sequel looks really, really cool. It's not exactly the same gameplay style. You're actually making your way out of the dungeon instead of into it, or gungeon rather. And it's like elevator style. I don't really know what to call it. It's like vertical gameplay. I'm not quite sure. But the biggest bombshell for it was that it's a shadow drop. It actually dropped that day, March 17th, 2020, which is crazy to me. It's $9.99 on the eShop. You can buy it right now. It was just crazy. And then they had that like tune in the background. It was like, exit the gungeon, exit the gungeon. Because I think in the first game they had like enter the gungeon. So I'm like wondering if it's like just the same exact song, but exit instead of enter, or if it's like a remix or something to that effect. I don't know. I'm just really excited for that game. I'm definitely gonna have to check this one out. But maybe I want to play more of the first one. I'm not sure. To be honest, I don't even know if I could beat the first one. I'd probably have to dump a lot of hours and training in order to try. But I'm very excited. I love that kind of game. Roguelikes. Not all roguelikes appeal to me, but the ones that do, like, really do. And Gungeon is definitely one that has. So I'm very interested. Bullet Hells, I'm not really too crazy about Bullet Hells, but again, Gungeon pulls it off for me. So I'm very excited to see what this sequel has in store. So yeah, those were all the games that they went over at this Indie Direct. I really liked it. Pretty much every single game that they talked about is coming out within a couple months. And they showcased some great developers across the world. It was very diverse. They showed off some really good games. Pretty much all of them was something that resonated with me, except for a select few. And I mean, there were a lot of bangers in this. I really liked this Indie Direct. It really tided me over Animal Crossing is coming out in a couple days as the recording of this video. So it was just nice to get more video game news and keep my mind off of that, so I don't go crazy waiting for this damn game to come out. I want to play on my island already. Come on now. But yeah, that's it. How would I rate this little indie direct? I'm very highly, probably like an 8 or 9. I really was impressed by what they showed and what they brought to the table. Nitpicks, I will say though, I did feel like they jumped in between games like too quickly, and there wasn't enough, like they didn't do enough to tell you that it was jumping into a new game. Like they would finish talking about a new game and like boom, they're already talking about the next one, like before I even have time to really digest what they even just said about the last one. And sometimes I would be like, oh wait, this is like a new game they're talking about now. So I do think that they could have paced it a little bit better and just made the presentation a little bit more clear. But I mean, the direct was about 20 minutes, so I think they didn't want to make it run too long. But I do think that there could have been a bit more done in that department to make it more clear about, you know, when a game was done being talked about and when a new one was starting to be talked about. But that was really the only negative thing that I had about this direct. It was solid, very solid. So yeah, that's about all that I have to talk about in this video. So if you liked it, give me a like. Drop in the comments what you liked about this video and what you thought I could have done better. Please subscribe if you would like to see my content in the future. And I hope you guys have a great one. So yeah, bye.